Yogis, thank you for joining me. We're going to do a little bit of yogic abdominal work or yogic core work. Okay, so we're going to start lying down prop-wise. I'm thinking I might use a belt and I might also use a brick or two. Okay, so let's start lying down. Now, as I lie down, I'm going to bend my knees in like this. Okay. And you can bring your hands down onto your abdomen. And I'd like to awaken the abdominal section first. So become aware of your breath. Feel a neutral position on the in-breath, and on the out-breath, draw your navel in and flatten your lower back down into the floor. Inhale, soften. Exhale, flatten the lower back down into the floor. Do you feel that work? Comes from the navel and around the navel, the abdominal section, okay? Draw in. Inhale, release. Exhale, slow, smooth exhale. Feel your tailbone tuck down and feel your back flatten down. Now, my hands are here really as a guide. They're not here to push my abdomen down. My abdomen can do that all by itself. So exhale, draw the navel in, flatten the lower back down. Now feel, release, lovely. On the next exhale, as you flatten the lower back down, feel it wide, the lower back. Don't just get like the two ridges of muscle on either side of the spine. Feel the whole of the back, the lower back pushing down. And then ease back up. And then again, draw in, flatten down, widen out the connection area between your lower back and the floor. How are your shoulders? Are they okay? Now I'm inhaling and exhaling and holding that. Can we do that? And I want to keep holding that. I'm going to take my hands down by my sides, okay? But I'm not really using them. I'm just placing them there comfortably. And then I'll bring my knees in together like this, okay? How's the lower back? Is it getting a bit floaty? Get it back down, flatten it into the floor, and then stretch your legs up, aiming for heels over hips. Can we do that? And stretch up into the heels. Are you using your arms to hold you? No, you're not. You wouldn't do that. And then let's bend the knees. Release the feet back into the floor. Soften the abdomen, soften the lower back. You'll find a little natural curve will come back into your lower back most likely. Okay, comfortable? Now I find there are areas that if I engage, it supports me in this pose, okay? So one of them is the inner thighs and the groins. So I'm going to grab my brick. It didn't want me to grab it. And then I will take the belt, the brick, apologies, like that. Can you see it? Between my legs, okay? That way, all right? Just like that, between my legs. And I'm going to squeeze in. Find a position that it's not digging in too hard. You know, you're not feeling like the corner is cutting off the blood flow or anything. And then squeeze it, okay? And now your palms were already on the floor. Same but palms up, which technically is not the same, but it's similar, isn't it? And then open the backs of the knees. Stretch the legs up and push the feet up into the ceiling. Now squeeze your thighs in, draw your navel in. See the two support each other. Squeeze the thighs in, draw the navel in, flatten the lower back into the floor, widen the lower back into the floor, and push the feet up into the ceiling. And then bend the knees, release the feet down. How was that? Could you feel the gripping in of the legs help you to hold the legs up? So we're going to approach it in a different way now. I'm going to lose this, okay? I'm going to take a belt. It's a short yoga belt, but any old yoga belt will do fine. The belt off your trousers will do fine. I want to put it into a loop. Now it's a bit slack. I'm going to tighten it a little bit, but I don't want my legs hard against each other. Okay. If you have varicose veins, get it off them, move it up, move it down. And now palms face up. And then stretch the legs up and try and stretch the belt. Okay, hit out into the belt. Now this is engaging the outer legs into the outer hips. See, does that support you? No work in the arms. The arms are just out of the way, placed on the floor. Extend up into your heels, ground down into your sacrum, flatten and widen your lower back into the floor. And then bend the knees, take the belt off. You did well, I think. I'm going to do it again, but no props, okay? This time, I'm wondering, first time, palms were down. It was okay, yeah? Second time, palms up. Third time, if you're up for this, arms over your head, okay? Now, this makes it a little stronger. So let's see how you get on. Feet together, knees together, squeeze them in, extend your legs up. Stretch up into your heels. Draw your navel in, flatten your back into the floor, widen your back into the floor. Reach the arms up, backs of the hands on the floor. Squeeze the thighs in. Holding. And then shall we bring the arms down? You wanted me to say legs, didn't you? And then bend the knees, feet on the floor. Okay, great. Now we're going to, this is a pose called Urdhva Prasarita Padasana, okay, in Sanskrit. We're going to, that's Urdhva Prasarita Padasana 1. We're going to do Urdhva Prasarita 2, okay? In Urdhva Prasarita 2, your legs don't stay at 90 degrees. You bring them to 60 degrees, 30 degrees, to 60 degrees, to 90 degrees. If that's too much for you, maybe you go from 90 degrees to 80 degrees. Just see, can you progress? And it's, what's more interesting is seeing where you can progress to rather than doing a rigid set way, okay? It's your body. One other thing, we're going to do every movement on the exhalation, okay? And the exhalation, you tend to draw in, you're more firm on the exhalation. So remember, that's why we're doing it. So exhale and draw in each time, okay? How would you like your arms? So you have the three options. You can go hands by the sides, palms down, palms up, or arms over the head. I'm going to go arms over the head. Do you want to join me? And then bend in your knees, stretch up your legs and extend up into your legs. We'll hold here for a little while. Reach those arms up all the while. And now on your next exhale, can you keep your lower back on the floor? Yes, you can, of course. Bring your legs to about 60 degrees. How's the lower back? I find it stays down, but it narrows. You know what I was saying about widening? We'll try and widen it back, flatten it back in, and then go to 30 degrees. Oh, that's the one, isn't it? Flatten the lower back in, widen the lower back in, back to 60 degrees, back to 90 degrees, and then bend your knees and bring your feet down. Shall we bring the arms down? I think we're starting to feel the abdominal area warm up a little bit of challenge there. Let's do it again. Once is never enough. So this time I'm going to go arms down by my sides, but palms down. And let's see, if you choose to do that, see if you notice what it gives you and what it takes from you, okay? What's different about it? So now, bring in the knees. On an exhalation, up with the legs. Hold it. And then on your next exhalation, legs to 60 degrees. Hold. Flatten the lower back, widen the lower back into the mat. 30 degrees. Hold. Flatten the lower back, widen the lower back. Back to 60. Hold. Back to 90. Hold. Bend the knees. Wrap the arms around the knees. Hug your knees in. Now, I'm going to ask you to roll over and come up to sit. So we're going to do Navasana. You know Navasana, the boat pose. It's a lovely pose. So I'd say that about them all, though. Don't trust me. Now I'm opening out my belt into quite a large loop. Okay, this isn't the full pose. I just want to create the shape of the pose. So then getting into the full pose will feel a little easier. I'll have something of a memory. Okay, so do you see where I'm putting the belt? It's just up under my armpits. Oops. And then the buckle needs to hold. So hold on a moment. I should have here's one I made earlier, like the cookery shows. So now I'll put it onto my feet. Okay, do you see where we're going with this? Do you see it's still under my armpits? And then I'm going to push my feet into your face like that. Okay, side view. I'm like this. And then I push into the feet. Okay, so that's creating the shape of Navasana. It's also doing most of the leg lifting. But of course, I'm holding my hands on the floor. That's not the full pose. If your balance is there at all, so can you take your hands and reach them out like that. Now, as you hold the pose, there is a temptation to drop your chest. Don't do it. Lift your chest, lift your chest. Take your lower back up and in. If you cannot, for today, you can bend your knees a little, okay? But if possible, full pose, extend into the feet, lift up the chest, and I try to very slightly arch back over that belt. And now, shall we bend the knees? Lovely. Take the belt off, put it to one side. Now we're going to try creating that shape, doing the full pose Navasana without the belt, okay? So the first thing is, where are you sitting? I would recommend the end of the sacrum and the two sit bones, okay? Or maybe it's the tailbone and the two sit bones. So you're not going to get fully onto the sit bones unless you've got very little hamstring resistance. But if you're back into the sacrum, you're dropping. It's not ideal. So holding on, lift the chest and then take the arms out. Now you can see my knees are my arms are way beyond my knees. I'd like to keep it like that as I bring up the feet. Bring the feet up to heels in line with knees. Yeah, that'll be great. And then see, can you go further? Can you go further? Can you go further? And then bend the knees. Hold on. Can you cross your legs like this? Hands beside you. Push in and lift. And back down. And then straighten out the legs again. Stretch out the legs again. And lift up those feet. And then bend the knees. Cross them the other way. Hands on the floor. Pushing in. Lift. Back down. Arms out again. Uncross the ankles. Lift up the feet one more time. Stretch up into those feet. And then release. And bring your feet back down into the floor. Great. I want to do a pose, which is sort of a soft version of what's called Vasishtasana. Okay? So I'm going to go sideways like this. So we've kind of woken up the rectus abdominis muscles, you know, your six pack, okay? Now we're going to get into what's called the obliques or the sides. So I'm going to go like this, and I have a line down the middle of my mat. I'm going to position myself on it, okay? And I'm taking my elbow just a little back behind it. And I'm stacking my legs one on top of the other. Now I might find when I go up that I need to adjust the distance between elbow and feet. Let's see how it goes. What I tend to do is to go too long. So I'm shortening a little, preempting it. And then I'll reach up with this arm and brace the forearm into the floor, brace the outer edge of that foot into the floor. It doesn't matter which side you're going to first. And then lift. Now we're aiming for a straight line from sternum down into heels, or perhaps very slightly bowing upward. Okay, and lift and let's hold. It takes a while for these muscles to start to feel the work. So let's hold a little while and feel that work. And lift those ribs, lift those hips, Do you feel that? Feel you're opening upward. You could roll your upper shoulder back. And then let's release. Don't take your hips down, but see, can you just roll over to the other side? And reach up with that arm. And you will feel it, the underside there of the side waist and up into the side ribs is working. And squeeze in there a little to lift the top waist up. Let's go once more to the first side. And reach up. That's it, and lift and open. Now, do you remember earlier we had a brick between the thighs and a belt around the thighs? Squeeze the thighs into each other as though there's a brick there. Great. Gain support from your legs. Second side. Reaching up. Two hands down. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Let's do it. You may need to shorten your pose a little and push from your hands up into your hips, back into your thighs, and dare I say, down into your heels. Spread out your shoulders as you hold the pose. Draw your navel in. It naturally does happen, doesn't it? Breathe. And now one more Vasishtasana. I'm going to lean into one hand, so I'm leaning into my right hand and my right foot. And I reach from the right hand up into the left hand. And I like my chest facing you, my abdomen facing you, my pelvis and my front thighs all facing you. As you hold the pose, grip into that right waist to gain more lift. And then bring that left hand down and roll over to the left side and reach up the right arm and lift up the right waist. Squeeze the thighs in, lift up the right hip. Looking down, two hands down, back to downward facing dog. Draw your navel in, lift your hips up, strong thighs, push those thighs back. And then drop your knees down. Okay, doing well. This is a hard one to pronounce. Jathara Parivartanasana. Jathara Parivartanasana. Okay, so we're going to give this one a try, and we'll do it twice. We'll do it once with the legs bent and then once with the legs straight. Now, when I say once, we'll do it a few times in the once. Yeah, you know yourself. So I'm thinking the best way to position might be move a little closer to you, because otherwise I'm going to kick the wall. And as I lie down, I'm going to stretch my arms out like this, okay? It's nice to be able to go with your palms facing upward and your head's back into the floor. Now, before I go anywhere, my shoulders are nicely anchored into the floor, and I'd like to keep them that way. You'll see what I mean. Then I'll bend my knees in. Now my hips are going to roll and lift. I'm good with that. So there's a spinal twist built into this. So arms reach out, shoulders ground down, navel draws in. You knew that. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your two knees to your right side, up toward the right elbow. Inhale, center. Exhale, bring your two knees to your left side, up toward the elbow. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Lift the knees up and in. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Lift the knees up and in. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Squeeze your thighs in against each other. So as you go to the right, the left knee is also going to the right. Don't forget it. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees to the left. Squeeze them in. Can you keep your right shoulder down? Inhale, center. Exhale, feet on the floor. Now, how did you find that? If you found it really challenging, and I'd like you to hold the details, keep the legs gripping in, don't let the knees slide at all. If you found it challenging, stay working with it, okay? Because it'll get easier with time and practice. It will not without practice. And if you found, yeah, I could do this is okay, I'd like you to try it with straight legs. The same rules apply. The legs do not slide. Where you keep the knees together, you also keep the feet together. And as you're bringing your feet up, you're bringing them toward your hands. So look once, okay? So there's my legs. As I bring them over and bring them up toward my hand. Do you see what I mean? I'm not going the whole way, okay? Because if I go too far, if I go much beyond that, what's going to happen is I'll collapse, okay? I want to be able to hold my firm form, okay? So let's do it together with legs which are bent or straight, your call. Inhale, exhale, legs to the right and up toward the right hand. Inhale, center, exhale, legs to the left and up toward the left hand. Inhale, center, exhale to the right. Inhale, exhale to the left. Inhale, once more to the right, to the center. Exhale to the left, to the center. Bend the knees. Hug your knees in. Ease your back down into the floor. Now I'd like to do one spinal twist to soften out the areas that we've worked on, because we want them to get stronger, but also remain nice and long, okay? So from feet together like this, can you cross your right knee over your left knee? Like that. And then can you roll your two knees to your left side? Like so. And then your left hand can ground your knees down and your right arm can reach out and let your right shoulder be heavy. And relax into the floor. Right shoulder heavy to the right. Two legs heavy to the left. And then inhale, come back. Unfold those legs. Cross them the other way. And then roll both knees down to your right side. As you then reach your left arm out, look out over your left shoulder. And your whole upper body is rolling to the left as the lower body is releasing down to your right side. Observe your breath. Earlier we were using the exhale for firmness. Now we're using the exhale for release. So feel with each exhale, that emptying of the lungs gives you space to soften and sink down. And then on your next inhale, roll back to the center, uncross your legs, and it's time for a little relaxation. Let's just relax for a minute or two. So firstly, feel your shoulder blades, spread them out, draw them down, take your arms out, then push into your heels, tuck your tailbone, and stretch your legs out. Let your feet flop out to the sides. Let your head relax right back. Let your legs be heavy, soft and heavy. Let your arms be soft and heavy. Let your hips weigh down and your ribs sink down. Soften the back of those ribs into your mat. And then release your abdomen. Well worked today. Let it now relax, relax. And observe your breath in your abdomen. Feel that rising breath, falling breath. Expanding, inhale, contracting, exhale. And now, keep that lovely gentle breath. Start to bring a little life back into your limbs. You could roll your feet in, you could roll your feet out. You could clench and unclench your hands. Why don't you then walk your feet in? And you could bring your knees in toward your chest, wrap your arms around your knees and hug yourself in. Hug in toward your thighs. You could curl in your head, bringing your forehead toward your knees. And then release. And let's roll over to one side. Roll up to sit. And let's cross our legs. We'll take our hands together and I will say namaste to you. You know what namaste means? It means I bow to you. So I bow to you. Thank you. I appreciate you joining. Join again soon.